Hello.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Welcome back, guys. Official season 3 launch.
Yeah, it's been a while, a hot minute. Not gonna lie, it's definitely been longer than we planned.
Definitely. It's been a roller coaster, to say the least.
Yeah, it's we've had a lot going on, but we're so excited to be here and to bring this season back better than ever.
We sure are. I couldn't be more pumped, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. Actually, I feel like kind of like what we want to talk about today, but there's ups and downs in life. Things go up and down, and just honestly, like I've been a big mess.
Yeah, me too. I still am.
Like I feel like my whole life has just been a big roller coaster. It still is, yeah.
Yeah.
Like
if that sigh doesn't give anything away. I said my sigh.
Your sigh. Yeah, just not even having it. But it's like, honestly, I think the fact that we've had to wait so long to then come back and do this all again and start season 3 is just like proof that life is up and down, because I was actually not in a place to be able to record this at all or do the podcast until like now.
Yeah. I mean, I was lying to myself before when we were like, all right, we're ready to get back into it, and we like fully recorded and we had it all planned, and then we both were like, just looked at each other and was like, look, we're definitely lying to ourselves.
Yeah, because for one thing, like it's not like, it doesn't bring the right energy when you do something but you're not in the right place. And I think we live in this fast-paced world where it's like you feel like the pressure to always be on and always be productive and like always get things done and continuously be moving forward. If you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards, and that's not true. But yeah, I felt guilty for not being able to be in a place to do it and record, and honestly I felt like a failure.
Same, but I was so busy and preoccupied with other stuff, I just didn't give myself the chance to think about it. I just kind of pushed it aside.
So for context, for anyone that's new, listening for the first time, we started this podcast at the beginning of last year, and then we did a whole year of podcasting, and then started podcasting this year. We went till about April doing season 2, and then we decided to pivot, redirect, have a facelift of the podcast, and that was supposed to take a month, maybe month and a half, and now it's September, the end of September, and we're only beginning of October, I think that's when this is going to come out, so we're only just up to launching. And so it's like sometimes your life just doesn't go to plan. Yeah.
And I think for us, well, at least for me, I'm a very planned person, so when stuff doesn't go to plan, I don't want to think about it, right? I just kind of I'm actively trying to be a more of a go with the flow type of gal, you know. But you know what? To my core, I'm a planned person, and there's nothing wrong with that. I am quite happy being planned.
Yeah, I think I resonate more with being go with the flow, but I think the way that I have lived my life up until now, it's conditioned me to be more of a planned person. So something that I've really been trying to like understand is how I've been trying to remove labels from myself so I can not think, hey, I'm a stressed person, because that's something that I identified with for so long. And instead of saying that, say like, I can get stressed. So instead of saying like, because you know, I don't like, I think who I want to be, like, can you choose who you want to be? Because like I want to be someone that's go with the flow. I just lied to myself.
No, I think you can, because what you tell yourself and what you speak to yourself definitely shapes who you are. So I think you can, and like the power of thoughts is huge.
Yeah,
like we know that.
Yeah, and I think like I knew that logically, but like now I know it like intuitively.
Yeah,
like I actually was like, so a few episodes back, I don't know how many, Danny mentioned 75 hard. We kept that in the episode, didn't we?
We did. I'm pretty sure we did.
And I said, ugh, that's terrible. Why would anyone do that? That's so toxic. Flash forward to like 6 months later and I'm doing the 75 hard challenge.
You know what? When you told me you were doing it, I did think back to that episode and I was like,
I know.
How life does a 180.
I know. And I think it's important to normalize the fact that we can change our minds. Yes. I also think it was a good life lesson for me to not just judge things before I try them. And for where I was then, it would have been the most toxic thing to do, you know, but doing it now, I reframed the whole point of why I was doing it, and it's been nice because, I mean, the challenge involves doing like 2 workouts a day, one inside, one outside, read 10 pages. Anyway, you can Google it. There's so many articles on it. And I saw a lot of people talk about how much it improved their mental health. So that's what made me think, because before, like, I wasn't coming at it from a place of physical improvement or change. And I think that was the biggest thing. And figuring out a way to move my body when I'm still resting, you know, has been good. I think even like a few times I felt like ill in the tummy, and then I would do yoga, and that would actually help because it's good to, like, I don't know, the yoga person said, like, massages your organs and stuff. I don't know that much about yoga, but like it made me feel good. But it's the whole point of this story is not the fact that I'm doing the 75 hard. The point of this story is that I went to the gym, as I've been doing, and we were away. So we have a home gym, but I wasn't at home. I was at like a public place. And this girl was in there, and she looked so damn good. Like, you could tell she has been training for a long time. She eats well, you know, she takes care of her body, and she looked like, it was like goals. I was like, and it made me like just feel like down. And it shouldn't, but it did. And I have been looking at like my progress pictures, because you have to take a picture every day, and from like day 1 to about day 25 looked like a huge difference. But then I'm like 35 now, but 25 to 35 was like I was on my cycle, like, you know, and then my body changed completely, and it looked like I was back at the start again, because your body does that. And then at this time, it was also like, hi, I saw this girl and she was goals, and I'm like, I don't even look like I made any progress, and I wasn't ever doing it for that. But the biggest thing is that for me, when I thought that, I had the feelings of like I wasn't super confident, but I didn't let myself say anything negative to myself, you know? And that was a huge shift, because I had always been somebody that says, like, in my head, I'd be like I would feed off it, you know? I would feed off the feeling of like, this sucks. But I didn't. And that was like, and then, I was like, you know, I feel like this, I don't know, it'll go away. Like, keep being kind to yourself, or try to. And I kept working out to feel good. And I sort of had to like actively let go of the fact that, you know, like, stop obsessing. Like, I had to actively choose to stop obsessing about it. And that was interesting, because the week before I was high on life. I was like, I look so good. Like, I look the best I've ever looked. But it's like, if you constantly compare yourself to other people, you're always behind.
Correct.
You know, so I think like my big ups and downs a lot of the time come from external comparison. So
yeah, so do mine. Whether I want to actively acknowledge that or not is a different story.
Right. Yeah.
But it's even like comparing it to my past self. You know what I mean? Like,
oh yeah, you do that.
I do, yeah. I do that a lot.
I think because I've never in the past, I think, yeah, like, especially with body image, like, I never felt like I was that good.
Well, yeah, I know what you're saying. And the thing is, at the time, back then, I didn't think the same either. But then you look back
and you're like, why?
Yeah, why'd I criticize myself so much? And you know what? I can guarantee that when I turn 30, I'll look back at, you know, me being 26, 27 and be like, why was I so hard on myself? Like, I can already see it's happening, and that's what I try and remind myself of. But it is just a roller coaster, constant roller coaster.
Yeah, like, I think every time I'm like, wow, I've come so far, then like a little bit in the future I'm like, wow, I still have a long way to go. True. Especially like with the whole like just being a girl, just body dysmorphia.
Oh yes. I was like,
you didn't know what I was talking
about. No. I had no context.
Yeah. I know.
I can't read your mind.
Why the heck not? No. Yeah, it's, yeah. And I mean, you've been feeling up and down in I've been feeling up and down in other areas of life. And I think it's interesting because now I feel good. Like, I'm super pumped to be recording this. I'm super pumped to be back into it and to be like living my life. But like, even like 2 weeks ago, I wasn't. I wasn't in that
Oh,
place.
same.
And you forget, like, unless you actively remember, because the only thing that actually exists is the present moment. So it's like I forget what it was like and how like down I was now that I feel good again.
Yeah, it's so easy to let, I don't know, forget that feeling, I suppose. But then like you can be very quickly reminded of it again. So yeah, to be completely honest with you, I'm coming out of that like low part of the roller coaster, but it like I could sit around and be like, oh no, I'm not ready to do this, but I know deep down it would just be an excuse.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, and I am sick of making excuses for stuff. So yeah, I think it's
that is an interesting concept. The how long do you wait? Letting yourself feel the feelings and acknowledging it and letting yourself like kind of rest and recover, and also actively taking charge to change things.
Correct.
Like there's a fine line. I think only you know or I know. But again, it's like like now, like if I don't feel good in the future, like it's like, if you do yoga when you have like, you don't feel great, it can help you, because it's beneficial to sometimes move your body in like different ways. So it's like the same thing of like, I don't know, it's like if you're not happy about something or you're feeling a bit down, sometimes it's good to do the things that bring you joy.
Correct, 100%. And this is really exciting.
Yeah, it is really exciting. It's actually, I'm nervous.
Why are you nervous?
Because
you can't say that and then not dive into it.
It's been so long since we did a podcast and since we've uploaded anything, and I think I'm nervous because one thing, I want people to be able to resonate, and like, I'm really excited for our being really vulnerable and genuine, and wanting to create this like amazing community of girls and women that we can like, chat with and actually like hang out with, because that's something that like I don't have like insecurity about it, but I think I grew up always wanting to be one of the boys, because I had that like toxic like pick me girl vibe.
I think it's quite common, to be honest.
It is, because but like I don't know, it's and I don't want that anymore, because like I love chatting and relating to other women, other girls and stuff like that. So I think it'd be really cool, and I'm excited to grow that. But it's also like when you have some kind of vision, there can always be like what if it doesn't turn out?
Yeah.
But I guess the whole point is to surrender, because you can't control any of that anyway.
Yeah, exactly. And like you never know if you don't try.
Yes. And yeah,
like the answer's always no if you don't ask.
You're right. And like knowing that I want to do this, like we want to do this anyway, sort of like overcomes any of the fear. But it is nerve-wracking anyway.
100%.
Like because you get the momentum when you've started something.
Yeah. And
we had the momentum, and then we sort of pulled back because we took the break, which I think we both really needed. Like I really needed it. I was not okay, guys. I was okay, but I needed time, because you sometimes need that, and you need to like take action. And I started seeing a psychologist, which was really helpful. That's been amazing. Highly recommend that if you're feeling not great, try to seek some kind of help, because it shouldn't be stigmatized. And then now I'm here, and I can actually do what we want and what I want, because I'm not all up in here.
100%. I think what was really important for both of us is recognizing burnout.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It was whether we called it out or not at the time, it was looking back, like that's legitimately what it was. We were just burnt out. Not solely from the podcast, but from just general life. Like we were doing so much, and we were trying to achieve so much, and that's great, but we hadn't been kind to ourselves in balancing that out. And so unfortunately the thing that had to give was the podcast, because we then didn't have, I wouldn't say like we didn't lose the fire, like there was still like a burn there, right, like ambers and stuff, but it just wasn't like really like that pretty fire sort of thing in your belly sort of analogy. Do you know what I mean? Like I just kind of, we got to the point where we were doing it for the sake of doing it, and that wasn't the right reason. And when we stepped back, we realized we're able to acknowledge and identify the fact that we were both burnt out, and that's okay. There was nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, and you can't just like stop every area of your life. So when you need to take a rest, sometimes, like, I think I was personally burnt out because I was giving all of my energy to things that didn't align with me. And when you don't have any, like, you can't fuel a fire without, like, oxygen and wood and all that stuff.
Yes.
Science. And so, like I had no energy to give. And so it felt like, honestly, the fire for me almost went out because I was so much living a life that wasn't what I wanted, and it wasn't aligned to what I wanted. And I think that whole, like, when you're in the biggest turmoil or challenge, or like you're feeling the most, like the blockages and like harsh times, like it's a big part of growth and change. And they always say, like, growth is uncomfortable. It's not uncomfortable, it's awful. It sucks. I hate it. I mean, I know it's beneficial and I need it, and I think, like, the amount of times I just, like, stood in the shower and cried, and I was like, it's not gonna last forever.
Literally.
Like, nothing is permanent, everything is temporary and transient, and when I figure it out, it's gonna be good. Like, at some point I'm gonna figure it out, because I just felt so lost in my life. And I feel, even though I don't know that much more what I'm doing, I feel like I'm making decisions that are more aligned with me, which is actually what gave me back the fire. And it's hard to choose yourself. Like, it is hard to ignore or choose to listen to your inner voice and not listen to everyone else, because I'm personally somebody who thrived when I was little and growing up, and probably until like now, listening to other people's opinions or choices and let them dictate it, so I didn't feel the pressure. But that's not really a great way to live, because then you don't live how you want to live, and then that leads to burnout and all that kind of stuff.
It can be a very vicious cycle.
I mean, and it's hard when, like, especially also letting go of the life that I thought I wanted. I don't think that gets talked about enough. Like, you plan this life when you're younger or whatever, and then you work really hard to get there. And sometimes, like, I was so focused on getting to where I thought I wanted to go that I didn't reevaluate if that was right for me. And I'm a big believer in that, like, everything is as it's meant to be, right? So I don't regret anything, and I think everything that happened needed to happen, and everything like that. But I didn't take time to pause and reflect, and so then you get to the end goal, and it's like it wasn't about the journey, it was about the destination. And then I got there and I was like, I don't know if I want to stay here. But I literally just, like, climbed 20 mountains to get here. So what do I do? Because it almost feels like you have to throw everything away. And that's not a good way to look at it, because that is not the truth, but it did feel like that for me.
100%.
And how do I tell all of these people that I told about what I wanted to do that I actually am not doing that anymore? Lol.
I don't know, it's something that you're not prepared for until you have to do it, right? You can't really prepare yourself for that, because you don't know if you're gonna be affected by it. Do you know what I mean? It's like when, like, for you it's been career, for me it's been relationships. Like, I never saw myself being, 27 and being like, like, I'm not
married.
I'm not married. Do you know what I mean? And not that I thought I'd be married at 27, but I thought I would have been in a decent long-term relationship, and I would potentially have an engagement ring on my finger, and planning that life with a significant other, right? So it's definitely like, like when everything unfolded with my dating history, like, you have to rewrite the story.
Wow, you're so true. That is so, I had a light bulb moment just then, because growing up I was very like, I don't want to date anyone, I hate people, and I just want a career. And you were very much more into, like, the dating or the like, I was like, I don't even know if I wanted, like I think I knew I wanted to, but I never. But it's funny, the thing that I focused on, that I was like, this is how it's going to be, is the thing that completely turned on its head. Whereas the whole relationships thing, I kind of was like, meh, and then it sort of just happened. Oh, that's frustrating.
But, like, what the thing is, though, like, and what we've had to really overcome recently in recent times, is the fact that the story that you've pre-written for yourself isn't law. It's not fact. It is up to be rewritten. It is up to adventure and spontaneity, and it's not set in stone. Like, there is nothing set in stone. Like Jess said, like, everything is temporary. Like, you just let it flow. And I think that's been the biggest thing for us. And as much as I'm a planned person, the whole flow thing, I'm like getting a vibe off.
Just dipping a toe.
Literally.
That is so interesting. And I feel like I was reading the 101 essays that will change the way you think. Is it by Brianna Weiss? I don't know. Well, yeah, Brianna something. She talks about in one of her chapters how... Do you ever just forget what you were going to say?
Yes, I do, actually.
It was so profound. What did you talk about?
The flow and everything's unwritten, and
like, this is not from the book. I don't remember what I was going to say. But everything teaches you something, and everything you go through is something that you're meant to go through to be on the path that you're meant to be on. And how sometimes, like, I remember. She said that as human beings, we don't change until change becomes more uncomfortable than staying the same.
That is so true.
And she says it multiple times. And I remember reading that because I was literally in this, like, unhappy situation with my, like, life. And I was, like, unhappy career-wise. And I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. Even though I knew that I didn't want to be what I was doing, but I wouldn't admit it because I didn't want to change. And I was scared of change. And I was like, what if I don't figure out what I want to do? And what if people judge me? And all of that kind of stuff. And then eventually it got so bad that I literally had to change because I was so down and I was so unhappy. And it was like, oh, that's true, because I literally, and she says, like, if you read the signs early, then you can avoid all of that stuff. Like, but it's just by human nature, we like being comfortable.
Yeah.
So I thought that was interesting because even, like, when I finally, it became more uncomfortable than staying, and then I, changed my life and changed my path and trajectory. Even though all that other stuff, the fear of what people think, and I still not knowing what I want to do and finding something better or whatever, like, that is still all there, but it's fine. It's not, like, bothering me because I, like, am actually acting in alignment with what I'm supposed to do because, so just, it's bizarre.
It is bizarre. And I think it also comes from a mindset of, what's the word? Like, not a lack mindset.
Like a growth or abundance mindset. Yeah,
an abundance mindset. Like, yeah, it really changes the way, like, in my whole dating life, like, I went through a period where I was chasing that relationship and I was lying to myself about the people I was meeting, and we all do it. Like, no judgment, no shame. You do learn, I promise. And I learned for myself and changed my mindset, and a whole lot of things changed, and it's been unreal. It's
like, it's the frustrating truth of, like, you have to surrender and, like, not stop trying, but let life happen and stop forcing things, and just surrender to the fact that, you can't control everything, and you could do your best, but then just, go with the flow and take the opportunities that come. But it's frustrating because it's really hard to do.
It is really hard to do.
And until you get uncomfortable enough that that's more uncomfortable than just staying the same, you don't change.
Exactly. But we believe in you. You can do it.
Yeah, definitely. And also, I think it's one of those things, again, like, sometimes you just have to learn things yourself.
Yes.
And I think I'm finally starting to understand the whole nothing is permanent. Like, sometimes I very much am a person that I used to, no, I'm not a person. Sometimes I would, because I'm trying to, not define myself, think about things that I did in the past and be, like, mortified.
Yeah.
Be like, why did I do that? Oh my God. Like, why? Anyway, I was literally thinking about something like that this morning, and then I get really down on myself and I get, like, this, like, big anxious ball in my chest, and I'm like, and I just had to tell myself, like, what I'm thinking about doesn't exist. Like, the only thing that exists is the present moment. The future doesn't exist. The past doesn't exist. They're all just ideas, and they're different in everyone's heads. My idea of whatever I was remembering is different to every single person that has that same moment in their memory, because we all reconstruct our own things, and we're all imagining this past. And I'm not saying it doesn't shape you and, you know, influence you and stuff like that, but it still contributes to the present moment. That is the only thing that is real. So it's like, why would I obsess and worry about something that doesn't exist? It's not real. It doesn't exist. And that's been, I don't know if that makes sense to anybody else, but that's been helping me.
That's good. That's actually a really nice reminder, because I mean, everyone says, like, you know, you gotta live in the present, and, you know,
la-di-da.
Yeah, exactly. And you hear it all the time. Yeah, but I think that's actually a really good concept, that, well, a nice way to look at it, a different way to look at it.
Yeah, like your memories are just a nice,
well, they're
idea.
Memories.
Yeah, and it's not like they didn't happen, but they're not happening now. They don't exist. They don't exist. It doesn't, like, that moment that you're stressing about isn't real.
Yeah.
The maybe the repercussions of it, or the, you know, what the consequences, you know, good or bad, might be real, but you just have to deal with them in the moment, and that's been good, because I am actually doing a lot better at being in the present moment, and it's made my life so much better, because there's been so many moments where I've been on this roller coaster of life, and I've been stressing about the past or the future, and I just miss it. I just miss what's happening.
Yeah. And life honestly goes by so fast, and you don't even realize.
It scares me when, like, people that are older than me, let's say people that are like 20 years older than me, talk, and like, I heard this the other day, somebody was talking on stage, and they were like, is this like really bright?
Yeah, it keeps changing. It wasn't like that before.
Sorry. This person that was older than me was talking on stage, and he was saying, he was probably like in his 40s. He said, you know, like, I remember when I was 26, like, it was like yesterday. Or I think he said 26 or 24, like, it was like yesterday. Like, time goes by so fast. His room had a lot of people that were his age, and he's like, how quick does it go? It goes so quick. Like, you gotta, you know, stop worrying and blah blah blah. And I was like, am I gonna wake up at 46 and be like, wow, 24 felt like not that long ago? And that was like kind of scary.
Yeah. I don't even know what to say, hey?
I think the fact that we are so, like, you and I,
yeah,
and I don't know, whoever, like, you always have the chance to change and change your mindset about life. And if you do that now, it's still better than doing it tomorrow.
Correct. 100%.
So if you can live in the moment now, like, you're never behind. That, like, always get, you know, it feels like that's pushed down on me, like, you're behind everyone else. Look at all these people that have achieved more than you. But
you're exactly where you're meant to be.
Yeah, exactly. And all the highs and all the lows serve us, and it is hard because sometimes you can't see it until hindsight is there to play its part. But if you can be kind to yourself and just, like, I really hope that you cannot bully yourself, you know, because that was really good for me for the first time, like, ever, when I was in a sort of negative place in my body, to not bully myself. And it makes a difference.
It does.
Because you can't control how you feel, but you can control how you think, which impacts how you feel.
Correct. That is true. So be kind to yourself.
Yeah, moral of the story.
Well, are we wrapping it up after that?
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, we are changing the style of the podcast. We've come back, we have reinvented it. We are ready and roaring to go. We're very excited. We are going to, like, make it a little bit more personal so you guys get to know us better.
Yeah.
And we'll start, now that we've kicked it off, we'll start to give you life updates. And yeah, so stay tuned. Yes, stay tuned. And yeah, we can't wait to interact with you and for you to interact with us, and, like, to make this like, rather than being in a lack mindset, be in this abundant mindset, and, like, attract a community that gets it, you know. So we're so excited that you're here and that you're with us and chatting with us, and yeah, we can't wait to, I don't know, chat with you every week forever. Exactly. Stop. Bruh. Apologies for the intermission.
Yes. But yeah, are we gonna put the outro on?
Yeah, I guess so.
Cool.
We'll wrap it up here. We'll chat with you next week.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening in.
There's absolutely no pressure to do this, but if you're happy to share the podcast with your friends or on your socials and tag us at Off Pod, that would be amazing.
You can also leave us a stellar 5-star review on whatever platform you're listening on if you're feeling extra motivated today. It really does help us out so much, but ultimately, we are just beyond grateful that you're here.
You are also more than welcome to come and hang out with us on our other socials. All of our links are in the description.